ultimately, seeing your ex in the place where you fell in love initially it was very difficult for me, and I didn't anticipate that at
Yeah.
all.
Well, I mean, first of all, does Ari season feel like a million years ago?
Oh, it's forever ago. Yeah. It's so weird to look back at that and to think like how different I was. I don't know, there was almost like an element of being afraid to be vulnerable and afraid to express what I wanted. And I've gotten so much more comfortable in my own skin since then.
Oh, are you still into taxidermy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so this guy right here.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I see it. Perfect. Love
Yeah,
it.
I like taxidermy, but now I'm more so in like the teaching world of science and zoology, which has been so great.
Yes, I do have some. I definitely wanted to bring up your Instagram and your fun facts at the end. So don't worry, we'll circle back to the animals because I do find it fascinating following you on Instagram. I learned things that I didn't even think to ask. But obviously, from Ari's season, you went on Paradise the first time. You met Joe. You guys dated for like 2-ish years after the show, and then I remember you gave an interview, I think on Almost Famous, and then maybe even also told Us Weekly or me that you had no interest in necessarily potentially going back, and especially if Joe was going to be there, because that would be so hard and it was still kind of raw. But then we end up on the beach. So what happened, Kendall?
It's funny how things change, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess going back to the beach, I had like a romanticism towards Paradise because it was such a romantic experience the first time I went. And then the second time I went, I really had hope for it to be that. Not in terms of rekindling anything with my ex, just because why would I do that publicly when we had like a 2-year relationship and there's so much stuff we can't talk about on TV?
Yeah.
So that would have taken more than a couple weeks in Mexico to fix. But I really had hopes of being able to find someone and to connect with someone. And I did. I went on, I had like a little romantic thing with Ivan, and that was great. But ultimately, seeing your ex in the place where you fell in love initially it was very difficult for me, and I didn't anticipate that at all. I didn't think I would be as emotional. Just from my perspective, I felt like I wasn't ready to do that in such a public way.
Yeah.
So.
Did you know he was going to be there?
Yeah, I had a feeling he was going to be there. I mean, people always hint, there's always rumors. So I knew there was potential he was going to be there, and so I wanted to make sure to like talk with him and to say like, hey, this is weird. We've been here before, but I want you to be happy, and I want to move forward and still be friends. And I think for the most part, we were really cordial and positive with each other, and gave each other space to do whatever we wanted on the beach. And, it worked out for him, and he happened to find someone he really connected with, which is beautiful. And I don't think I had that same connection the second time. And it's weird because you feel like, oh, it's so easy to have a connection on the beach because it happened the first time and I didn't expect it. I was almost like not against finding someone, but I thought I was going to be leaving the beach single the first time. And then the second time, I just didn't find a connection with somebody. A lot of great people on there.
Yeah, and what I do remember of watching it, I know you said you didn't watch it, is you guys did all look like really mature. It was a lot of drama was going down on that beach, but obviously they put a lot of focus on the fact that you and Joe were there, and it was a lot of screen time. But whether it was you or Serena or Joe, everyone spoke about each other with kindness and in a way where it was like, oh, this is kind of interesting to see this mature way of you guys were sitting at the breakfast table or whatever. Like no one was really saying anything about each other in their confessionals. And it felt like a mature way to go around an awkward situation. So it did come off that way to the audience, in my opinion.
That's good. I mean, of course I get like a bunch of feedback and people's opinions, which I found a little bit confusing, but ultimately in the end, like when we were there, we just wished happiness for each other, and that's all we ever wanted. And I got along with them, and I don't know, I was only there for 4 days. I think everyone makes it seem like I was there for like a really long time.
You were only there for 4 days.
I didn't last long. I was very much like, okay, came here, it's a lot harder than I thought. I'll try it out for a couple days, not for me. And so, and then I stayed for the end because, I'm not sure how much I can say.
Yeah, what can you say about that at the end?
So I was under the impression that Joe was going through a lot of mental difficulty with our relationship and me being there. And so for me, coming back to talk to him, it would be a way to be like, hey, this chapter's closed. It was kind of weird the way we ended it, but let's make it not weird and let's move on.
Right.
No idea there would ever be any sort of proposal at all. Like, not in my mind. I even said, like, if there's going to be a proposal, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to go to the beach because that's not my day. That's their day. And so finding out later that there was a proposal actually made me really upset and a bit angry. But that's just what it ended up being. And hopefully the situation that took place seems to not affect their relationship anyway, or their proposal in any way. It still felt, hopefully it felt just as special, but I would have preferred not to be there that day.
That is very fair of you to, have not wanted to be there for that. And I know that it's not always what it seems. And your friend Jacqueline, you mentioned she's getting married. She told me, I remember when that was airing, she was like, Kendall didn't know. And I was like, yes, Jacqueline's getting justice for Kendall.
Yeah, I love Jacqueline. She's so great. Because as soon as I got back, my close friends, Jacqueline included, I said everything that happened. And so looking back, of course, like when things are airing, that's when you get all of the opinions and because I chose not to watch it, it was something that I was kind of battling with because you want to watch it and defend yourself. But I got to a point where I felt like it was a waste of time to even try to defend myself. For me, the most important opinions are people that I love, my family, my friends. And so that's kind of what I focused on during that time. And I took a step back and I thought it just wasn't emotionally worth it to put myself through the battle of proving myself because, why? I just don't see a reason why.
Yeah, no, definitely. Do you regret going back or are you just like, it happened, we're all good now, who cares, all's well that ends well?
I didn't, honestly, when I left, I felt good. Like, I felt like it was it was a good way to like end something that had been so, not unsure. I guess like I left that beach feeling more sure about where our future ended up than anything. I felt really confident and I think I learned a lot of lessons with it. I had a fun time when I was there with Tia and Becca. I got to date Ivan, who I had curiosity about. And so overall, I felt like it was a positive experience and I cried for like, a bit, but who doesn't cry? And
we do that.
Yeah. And I felt like it was really positive, and it wasn't until afterwards, after everything aired, that I realized that there was some sort of negative air about it. And and I just chose not to look into that. So.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly Magazine.